Hello, everyone. So, you may or may not know, some of you out there that I will be sending this to know, and some of you participated. But we are today, the South Dakota GOP convention is winding down. Started on Thursday primarily, and the big events were yesterday. And so I'm going to give you my thoughts on the convention and what took place as reported to me by members that were there. I will also be pointing I will also be pointing out two things that put South Dakota on the nationwide map across the social media spectrum and other media, um, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. It also, yeah, it was not in a good way. I'll just leave it at that. So the GOP resolutions started off the process. They went through committee on Thursday and Friday, and then were voted on by the representatives there on Friday. There was 16 resolutions, but I'm going to be focusing on just three of them, um, and those three deal with election integrity, which to me is the foundation for the rest of the resolutions because it gives us the power, we the people, the power to vote on them or to have them implemented, whatever the case may be. So let me put those up for you so you can see those. And I'm not sure if you can see them. I'll go ahead and read them to you. We had a resolution calling for the elimination of electronics in our election system. South Dakota GOP recognizes CO2 as a beneficial atmospheric gas. Reclaim the Republic of the United States of America, revised number 2. A resolution in robust support of the South Dakota Attorney General's pursuit of justice and accountability for COVID-19 pandemic response malfeasance and fraud. Plenty of that going around the country. Pursuant to the February 2025 State Attorneys General Coalition Letter, a resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary, recognizing South Dakota's place in America's history and acknowledging the importance of the Mount Rushmore National Memorial, resolution to defund politically biased programming by South Dakota Public Broadcasting, plenty of that going on, resolution honoring Sonia Kading for her service to South Dakota Republicans. Resolution to support petitions at all levels of government. Strengthening justice for victims of child sexual abuse and pedophilia. Resolution in support of banning cell cultured protein in South Dakota. Resolution to urge U.S. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the federal delegation to continue efforts to pass the Save America Act. Condemn and censor false campaign ads. A resolution calling upon the government of South Dakota to protect South Dakota from the consequences of Minnesota's energy policy. A resolution rebuking Senator John Thune for his performance as U.S. Senate Majority Leader and censoring him until the Save America Act becomes law. Resolution affirming the protection of South Dakota's people, families, property rights, privacy, and rural character in the development of data centers and artificial intelligence infrastructure. And then finally, resolution to support limiting a change in party affiliation. Again, all great resolutions, um, but I'm focusing on the three, like I said, that deals with election integrity. Now, I will also point out that when these resolutions were voted on, they were all done by voice count, which, in my opinion, I don't totally agree with because it's not a very accurate system of voting. But it is what it is. I wasn't there to make the rules. And again, these laws, these resolutions aren't law per se, but they are a strong voice of the people in the state, and it basically draws a line in the sand, so to speak, telling our representatives and others that you're on notice. This is what we want done. Get it done. So the number one resolution that I focused on was calling for the elimination of electronics in our election system. And I'll read that. I want to read that summary of the resolution to you. The United States Constitution guarantees to every state a Republican form of government, a constitutional Republican form of local self-government, where we the people conduct our elections and count our ballots at the precinct level. This is the foundational and most fundamental act of a free people, as power must stay in the precinct, hand counted by the registered stakeholders of these precincts. So basically what it's saying is we want to do hand counting at the precinct level, because now, currently, as it happens now, you go vote at your precinct. They take the ballots. Once it's done, they take the ballots and they transport them to the courthouse, and that's where they get run through the machines. That's not a very good method. And so they want that change. It's primarily to go to hand counting, but they want it done, again, like I said, at the precinct level. The next one was a resolution to support petitions at all levels of government. Let me read that one to you. Summary is the ability to petition our government and carry out fair, trustworthy, and transparent elections has been the cornerstone of our constitutional republic since our founding. South Dakota Codified Laws 7-18-9, 2-1-11, and 7-18A-13 have recently been ignored and violated in many counties across South Dakota by the rejection of legally submitted petitions for ordinances to hand count ballots in the precincts, and petitions calling for setbacks from CO2 pipelines have been rejected. This has resulted in usurping the desires of many citizens of South Dakota by denying them the right to vote on something they feel strongly about. As you know, as I pointed out many times, in 2024, a lot of this happened, and I don't care what the state's attorneys will tell you. There is 3 laws right there in the resolution mentioned that tells you that we have the ability to petition our local officials, elected officials, and those petitions must be, by state law, forwarded on to the people for a vote on those petitions. And it has not been done. And surprisingly, maybe not, from what I understand, 5 of our newly elected precinct committee people and one of our delegate at large, when the vote came up, from what I was told, they voted against it. And those people were Charlie B. Huffman, James Barrett, Don Jenner, and the Ackermans, our Sheriff Dave and his wife Stacy. The people elected them to represent them in more ways than one. And they are telling the voters, by the vote that they took on this specific resolution, that no, we do not want you to be able to petition your local government and vote on those petitions. We don't want to give you that authority. Imagine that. You elect these people to represent you, and they pull a stunt like that. But for some reason, folks voted for them. Anyway, this resolution passed, and also the resolution calling for the elimination of electronics in our election system, that got passed as well. The last one was a resolution rebuking Senator John Thune for his performance as U.S. Senate Majority Leader and censoring him until the Save America Act becomes law. And I will show that one to you. Okay. Summary. The Save America Act languishes in Congress, sitting there forever, in spite of its overwhelming national support and importance for national security. While there are many ways in which John Thune's performance as Senate Majority Leader have been found wanting, his failure in regards to the Save America Act is his most glaring, and he cannot be ignored. It is for this reason that we, the elected representatives of the South Dakota Republican Party, find it regretfully necessary to censure South Dakota Senator and U.S. Majority Leader John Randolph Thune until such time as the Save America Act is officially signed into law. Okay. So that resolution got passed in committee, but it failed during the vote. From what I understand, the reason why it failed, the people that voted against it didn't want it. They felt that it would help the Democrats in some form or fashion. I don't understand the logic in that. I find it utterly ridiculous because Senator Thune is already helping the Democrats at every turn that he can. So why this got voted down, the reasoning makes no sense to me. But this is one of the issues that made the headlines and circulated around social media. It was, I can tell you, it was not or is not a good look for the state, that one there, because there are a lot of people nationwide, when they found out that the GOP had a chance to censor Senator Thune, they were looking very close at South Dakota. And when this failed, all hell broke loose. Anyway, so those were the three resolutions that I focused on. And then, if that wasn't enough, then we had another incident that put South Dakota in the limelight. I don't know if you know Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler basically started out, he got popular by going from state to state to state, primarily on the East Coast, registering voters within those states. And then he was hired when President Trump took over, he was hired by the RNC, Republican National Committee, to work for them. And he has been a big proponent of the Save America Act. And he's pretty much been a thorn in Senator Thune's backside. Because he's been pushing it a lot. So anyway, on Thursday, Senator Thune was having a dinner, from what I understand, and Scott Pressler had a ticket for it. It was legit. He had a ticket. He was going to go. And Thune's Mafia wouldn't allow Scott into the dinner. And so Scott got on his phone and he made a recording of it. And during this recording, there was a gentleman by the name of Matt Bruner from Carthage, South Dakota. He is a renowned Thune butt kisser and has extreme Trump derangement syndrome. He's a narcissist that thinks he has a great following on Facebook. He hates everything about MAGA. And his wife works for the International Monetary Fund as a deputy program chief. So that is the background on Mr. Bruner. Let me bring up that video. That made him and the state pretty famous.
Hey guys, this is Scott Pressler. I'm here at the South Dakota State Convention. I have a ticket, and they are saying that I can't come in. So we're gonna find out very.
Now, before I continue on, just to the left of Scott, right over here, there's a lady. If you can, focus on her expression during this exchange.
Shortly, why I am not being allowed as one of the biggest supporters of President Donald J. Trump.
I'm big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're posting this little piss and moan session on Facebook. So you just get the hell out of here. Thank you.
You see how the grassroots are welcomed in Senate Majority Leader Finn's territory. Interesting, my friends. I don't think this is a good reflection of the South Dakota GOP. But I thank him for his honesty though. What's your Matthew Bruner, Sergeant at Arms?
Okay. Did you see that lady's face? I don't know who she was. I guess she's a big supporter of Scott Pressler. Wow. I can tell you, as of the making of this video, I mean, that incident blew up on the air. It blew up on the airwaves. As of right now, and when I made this video, that video has had 2.9 million views on X. From what I understand, I don't know how or who made Bruner the sergeant of arms. I don't know what his purpose is, other than he's an idiot. But immediately after that video, he was fired. He no longer became the sergeant of arms. The GOP chairman, Mr. Jim Eschenbaum, was backpedaling and in super CYA mode, he made a couple apologies on X for what happened. But just that one little incident from that narcissist little TDS scumbag made us look very bad. We don't need people like that in our state. I did go on and Scott, for that video, I did go on and tell him that the majority of South Dakotans don't think this way. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So anyway, enough of that. Anyway, on Saturday, they had the votes for the constitutional positions. The Public Utilities Commissioner position, Don Hager won that race. State Treasurer was won by Melissa Hall. State Auditor was won by Catherine Barranco. School and Public Lands was won by Brock Greenfield. I have to admit, I don't know any of these people. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. From what I understand, they don't have a very good history. But then it came down to the two big races. Those are the ones that I was focusing on the most. And that was the Secretary of State and Attorney General positions. The Secretary of State position was won by Heather Baxter. She unseated the incumbent, Monet Johnson. This was a huge win for election integrity and a huge win for the state of South Dakota. And I look forward. I mean, they can't get her in office fast enough. I look forward to Heather doing some amazing things for election integrity and for the state. And I'm also hoping I'm also hoping that auditors, that the many rogue auditors that we have in the state, and the ones that are on the wrong side of the tracks, I hope now with Heather being the SOS that they will do us a favor and resign. One can only hope. The Attorney General position was won overwhelmingly by Lance Russell. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even a close race. Austin Huffman, the McPherson County State's Attorney, as you all know, he came in second. And then Mr. Fitzgerald, he took up the rear. I think he didn't get that many votes. This too was an amazing win for the state. Lance is a big proponent of election integrity, and I can tell you that he has been provided with many documents of evidence as to what has been going on over the years at our county levels. Primarily, as you know, the rejection of petitions and other lawlessness. So with that said, I'm hoping that, number one, he will fire a bunch of his lawyers at the AG office who are worthless and don't really do anything for us, especially Mr. Grant Flynn. And then number two, I hope he proceeds to start holding people accountable for their actions of lawlessness over the past couple of years. That would be a big eye opener. We'll see. We'll give him some time to get adjusted and see what happens. There's plenty of time for him to do that. Hopefully he will. Also, President Trump chimed in via video call and said that he was looking forward to coming to South Dakota. I don't know. I didn't catch anything on the call. I would imagine he's probably going to come for the 4th of July to Mount Rushmore, since I believe they're going to be doing fireworks this year. More to come on that. I'm sure he'll be making a big announcement. Anyway, folks, that's the highlights from the information that was provided to me and that I gathered, and this is what I wanted to inform you about. Like I said, most of you that this is going to be coming to already know about it probably, and a lot of you were actually there. If you do need or require more details, get with our local McPherson County GOP group members, because they were all there, and they can fill you in on any details. They, as well as many others, I can tell you, they did a great job at the convention. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that is not noticed, and they were out there pounding the pavement, so to speak, and put in a lot of hard work, not only during the convention, but preparing for it as well. So that's all I got. Have a good day.